Hello everybody, I'm Julie here at Green Acres Nursery and Supply, and today I want to talk to you about how to get that bumper crop for your fruit trees year after year, decade after decade. And we're going to talk about how you water, fertilize, prune, and thin the fruit to get all of that healthy, amazing fruit right out of your own yard. So I used a term called bumper crop. What do I mean by that? I mean an absolute embarrassment of riches. I mean that you're getting so much fruit off of those fruit trees that you're doorbell ditching the neighbors, you've learned how to make fruit leather, and you're making jams and jellies. That's the bumper crop we're after. The first year, you have a singular important task for your fruit trees. Those fruit trees are going to want to make some fruit, and you're going to be very excited and happy to see it. But I need you to make a really strong choice. Any fruit on that first year tree needs to be cut off. If you leave that fruit on the tree is going to decide to take some of the energy away that it needs to developing that excellent root zone, that strong trunk, and those all-important branches and healthy green leaves. Year after year, after the first year, you're going to let more and more fruit happen on the tree as the tree can support it. But be strong that first year and clip off that fruit. When it's time to water and fertilize, there are two distinct stages we're going to be looking at. The first is when your plant is brand new, your fruit tree, and you've just put it in the ground. For the first 6 months, you're going to concentrate food and water at the spot where the pot line was. I know you didn't put that pot in the ground, but you can kind of remember where the pot line was, and that's where I want you to concentrate the food and water, because it will then spread to the existing roots, taking care of what you have, and spread next door, which is what allows the root zone to expand. The closer food and water gets to the trunk, the fewer fruit and flowers you'll have. So for the first 6 months, food and water at that original pot line. After 6 months, all food and water belongs at the furthest reaches of the branches, also known as the canopy edge or the drip edge. Rainfall naturally collects there for plants out in the wild, and that's where thirsty, hungry roots are, and we need to recreate that for our plants at home. So with the fertilizers, we really encourage you to always stick to organic fertilizers. Fertilizers that are organic are known for feeding the soil, improving the soil, and now you're filling the plant's larder with all of the food and nutrition it needs, and it can access it at any time. When you use other fertilizers that aren't organic, you tend to get very rapid growth, and for your fruit trees, that means diverting attention from roots, fruits, and flowers to green and tall. So choose organic. You're going to see the long-term difference. Fruit trees generally want pruning, and we're all used to doing the majority of our pruning during the dormant period in winter to remove dead, diseased, damaged, and crossing branches. When you do that significant pruning, you open up the canopy to get even sunlight. Now you're going to get that bumper crop because the whole tree is going to be producing. Further, when you clear out those useless, awful branches, you've got really good airflow, which is how you reduce a lot of diseases. Go ahead and make sure that you know what your plant is. Some of them do not want winter pruning. Apricots and cherries, for example. Nope, we're going to prune them at a different time. Always feel free to check with us about the specific fruit tree you have for exactly when to prune to get that consistent bumper crop year after year. Then there's something called thinning the fruit. These will make a lot more fruit than they can support. They're a little bit greedy, they're not really thinking about the future, and what happens is when you've got all that fruit, you're going to start to see as the season goes by that the limb is starting to bend, sometimes it's starting to crack, and sometimes it breaks off entirely, and that's not repairable. Instead, we're going to thin that fruit, sometimes by as much as 50%. If you don't thin, what's going to happen is all the fruit that you have is going to be very small. It will never get full size. It will also be in danger of touching each piece, which greatly increases the chances of disease and insect pests. And back to apricots, for example, if you don't thin those apricots, next year that tree is going to decide to make fewer of them. Please feel free to come and see us anytime with your questions. We're here to help. We love fruit trees, we love bumper crops, and we can't wait to help you get there too. And we're always available at idiggreenacres.com.